I'm Jamie from Jamie Riddler Studios, and today I'm going to share with you what's on my Creative Living bookshelf. Now, if you're a regular viewer of Creative Living TV and you hang out with me behind the scenes, you'll have seen a couple of these before, but I wanted to tell you more about them. So first is Pamela Slim's body of work. The subtitle is Finding the Thread That Ties Our Story Together. One of the things I love about this book for creative people is we tend to have kind of a windy, wiggly, unusual past. And this idea of bringing together all of the things we've done, all of the different expressions of who we are in lots of different ways, and considering it our body of work is really empowering. And Pamela really gets into helping you pull out those threads, identify them, and start to look at how you can present that for the work that you want to do in the world. And I know a lot of you are ready and willing and excited about doing amazing work in the world. So if you want to start conceptualizing what your work looks like as a body of work, Pam's book is a good place to start. I'm also really excited because Pam is going to be on the Creative Living with Jamie podcast soon, so be sure to check that out. Also going to be on the podcast is Mason Curry, who's written this book, Daily Rituals, How Artists Work. I immediately was fascinated by this because one of the things we talk about all the time at Jamie Riddler Studios is what are our habits, what are our rituals, what are our practices that support our creative lives. And what Mason has done is pull together all sorts of artists from all sorts of disciplines and researched what did they do? How did they structure their day? How did they get to work? How was their space? Was it completely uncluttered? Was it madness? What worked for them? And as I start to look at what worked for them, it helps me consider, what do I know about what works for me? Creative practices are something we talk about all the time at Jamie Riddler Studio. So this book was an immediate yes as soon as I saw it. And of course, The True Secret of Writing by Natalie Goldberg, Connecting Life with Language. One of the things I found really fascinating about this is in this book, Natalie shares a lot about what she does when she leads retreats. And I think this is fascinating for people who are aspiring retreat leaders, as well as people who wish they were on those retreats with Natalie. There's lots of great exercises to do, and also lots of explanation of the thought process behind structuring. I'm just realizing the connection between this and this. The thought process about structuring a creative practice, a creative exploration in a particular way. And of course, Natalie Goldberg, right? I mean, Writing Down the Bones is a classic. I think it's on the Golden Bookshelf Hall of Fame in my creative space, along with The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. So this is really worth checking out if you're excited about writing, if you love Natalie, and if you're curious about what it would be like to be on writing retreat. Now, as well as creative practices, we're often talking about creative entrepreneurship at the studio. And so I had to check out my dear friend Jennifer Lee's Building Your Business the Right Brain Way, Sustainable Success for the Creative Entrepreneur. And I'm thrilled to share that Jen is also going to be on the Creative Living with Jamie podcast. This is a podcast festival today on the bookshelf. And we had a great conversation about what it means to build our businesses in, as she puts it, a sustainable way for our creative hearts. And this is such an important bridge building tool and discussion about how can we be true to our creative nature? How can we build on all our creative potential and channel it into a successful, thriving business that we truly love to do? I know for me, when I started out in business, one of the things I really did was I'd be off in my creative little world creating stuff, and then it would come to the business part. And I would feel like there was a way that it had to be done, and it clearly was serious. And it was such a relief to me to realize that I could approach my business as creatively, as visually, as excitedly, as cheerfully as I did anything else, as I did writing a poem, or as I did learning guitar, or as I did making a painting. And so one of the things Jen does is really talk about that. In fact, I think it's her first chapter. She talks about your business as a work of art. Well, see, I love how these things tie together, because we have our work as a body of work, and then we have our business as a work of art. Lots to explore here. And then the last two books that I want to share with you are books that I thought I wouldn't like. They are books that when they got introduced to me, I thought, that's kind of silly. I don't really understand why you'd want that. And now I love them. So here they are. I've got two books. One is called 20 Ways to Draw a Tree and 44 Other Nifty Things from Nature by Eloise Renouf. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Eloise. And the other is 20 Ways to Draw a Tulip and 44 Other Fabulous Flowers by Lisa Congdon. And yes, Lisa's going to be on the show too. So what these are, and I'll see if I hope you'll be able to see, is books that give you some exploration. So here's Lisa's exploration of daisies. And then the idea is to give you more visual references of what daisies might be or what dahlias might be. And then also for you to encourage you to draw all sorts of exploration. So I know in Eloise's book, for example, she's got these wonderful owls. And then she has, it says draw 20 owls. So these are the ones she's offered, and then you offer yours. And one of the things that's happening for me right now is I'm really discovering drawing for the first time. I found drawing to be one of the most intimidating art forms. And recently at Creative Bug, I took a class with Lisa Congdon called Line Drawing. And it kind of opened up my whole mind about what drawing could be. And so I've been obsessively drawing all sorts of things. And this gave me lots of places to start. And I also found, if you're a writer, one of the things you probably know is that you love words. And if you're a painter, you love color, likely. And so I found that over the years, I kind of collect words, I've built a vocabulary of words that I just adore. And I've read lots of books, and those words sort of drip into my vocabulary. And for the visual world, we also need that. We need to build our visual vocabulary to have a sense of what is the shape of a horse, or what is the shape of a bowl, or what all sorts of things that we think, like what is the shape of a tulip? I have these beautiful purple tulips. And so if I close my eyes and look at them, what would be the shape that came to my mind? But then if I looked at them, what's different about the shape that I see? And then if I did them only with straight lines, what would I create? And then when I did them only with circles, what could I create? And so this is the way of expanding your visual vocabulary, and it's lots of fun. And it really comes down to the simplicity of lines and shapes. And these I found to be really great tools for inspiration. But I gotta say, if you are gonna pick up a book like this, absolutely spend some time looking at snowflakes or looking at lavender. But draw it too. Engage with your books. This is what I want to encourage you to do the most. Whether you pick up 20 Ways to Draw a Tulip, whether you pick up Building Your Business the Right Brain Way or Daily Rituals or any of these books, read them for sure, but don't just read them. Apply what you learn, question what you learn, wonder about what you come across, and see how these books can seep into your creative life and change something for you, awaken something for you, open something for you. And that's really what reading is all about. At least that's what I look for on my creative bookshelf. Now, one thing I do want to mention is I usually try to have a fiction book going, which I don't right now. So if you have a recommendation of a fiction book that you're really enjoying right now, I'd love to hear it. And maybe it'll end up on my Creative Living bookshelf. Thanks so much for checking it out. I hope there was something here to inspire you. I bet Amazon's going to be busy today. Have a great day, and I will see you soon.